How's it going? Welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and this video is a review of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. It's a mockumentary directed by Dean Fleischer-Camp and was released in the USA on June 24th, 2022. Dean is staying at an Airbnb when he meets Marcel and decides to film and post him online. Before I hop into my review, please take a second to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. It's really appreciated. Like, seriously, it means a lot. Just a heads up, this review will contain spoilers, so continue at your own risk. Lastly, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know by leaving a comment and I'll get to it. Thank you. We're hopping in 3, 2, 1. Marcel is a young shell who lives with his grandmother, Nana Connie. They are both tiny little shells, as were the rest of their family and neighbors. They live in a human home, an Airbnb. Marcel and Nana Connie live alone after their family and neighbors were accidentally taken away when a resident moved out. You can physically feel their loneliness as Dean interviews them. It's very tragic to see them go through so much loss, but it's also very touching to see how they've persevered through their pain and made the most of their situation. As Dean lives with and interviews the shells, he posts his interviews on YouTube where Marcel becomes a cultural phenomenon. Marcel tries to use his newfound fame and attention to try and find his family, but to no avail. This is very heartbreaking because Marcel is a shell that is full of life. Despite being 1 inch tall, his enormous heart and personality make him seem larger than life. He is so hopeful in his search for his family, and seeing it end in failure hurts. As viewers, we can easily see how discouraged Marcel becomes. Nana Connie is getting older and her health is deteriorating. Marcel also finds out just how big the world outside his home truly is. His larger-than-life personality is pushed and shoved down by the enormity of everything. Thankfully, Marcel's luck turns when his fame gains him an interview with his and Nana Connie's idol, Leslie Stahl. While Marcel is filming a 60 minutes episode and telling his story, Nana Connie passes away. Seeing Marcel cry breaks my heart. I don't care that he's a shell, that he's not real. No child deserves to go through the pain he's had to experience. You can probably predict what happens next in the film, but I will let you watch it and find out for yourself. There were several things about the film that I deeply enjoyed. I enjoyed the themes of loss, grief, loneliness, and moving forward. In a perfect world, we would never have to deal with these pains. But we live in an imperfect world, and loss, grief, and loneliness are a reality for many people around the world. Seeing Marcel's naive optimism is encouraging. It's unfortunate that he has to go through so much darkness before he can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but ultimately there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it is bright. I absolutely love the voice acting by Jenny Slate as Marcel. She brought so much life to a shell, an inanimate object. Marcel felt alive to me, and I never expected to tear up for a 1 inch conch. When Marcel was excited, I was excited, and when he was sad, I was sad. Nana Connie was also brilliantly voiced by Isabella Rossellini. Her beautiful accent and voice conveyed wisdom that only years lived can teach. Nana Connie felt like a serene and stoic figure. She felt real. I don't see mockumentaries very often, so it was really fun seeing Dean play himself, documenting everything. It made the film feel incredibly authentic. I also appreciated Leslie Stahl and her appearance in the film. She helped bring Marcel back to life. The voice acting ties a bit into the dialogue, so I might as well cover that now. Some of the lines punched my heart.
Guess why I smile a lot?
What?
'Cause it's worth it.
That grips my soul, man. Even the little lines hit hard for me.
On the days when you have a really keen sense of being lost or losing something, that it often feels like the sun shines the brightest.
Here's one more for good measure.
The rule is that I want to be having a good life and stay alive and not just survive, but have a good life.
The dialogue is perfect to me. It felt real, natural, and impactful. I thought the film did a wonderful job with the score and the soundtrack. They weren't intrusive and helped complement the emotions invoked by the story and dialogue. Additionally, the sound effects were excellent. Whether it's cups chipping, dogs barking, cars honking, or whatever else, the world in the film felt real. I felt like I was at the Airbnb. The cinematography was also beautiful. I don't think it was perfect, but it's definitely up there. We get a ton of creative angles by Dean as he tries to show things through his eyes and Marcel's eyes. The film is very innovative in the way it tells its story. I love the inclusion of videos on YouTube and TikTok. It added a touch of reality that I as a content creator appreciate. I also greatly appreciate the stop motion technique used for Marcel and Nana Connie. It screams attention to detail and I appreciate that so much. Before I wrap up, one final thing that I want to mention is how much work Dean put into this film. Dean has 3 short films about Marcel which he posted on YouTube over 10 years ago. Seeing his growth from making short films in his bedroom to working with over 500 filmmakers really warms my heart. He deserves as much success as possible. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the film. Marcel is a unique character and very much feels alive. He is a bit naive in the way he lives, but it makes me think of good times in my life. Seeing the ups and downs he goes through are heartbreaking and touching. I also very much enjoyed the story of this film, including the dialogue and voice acting. There were a lot of inspiring lines that I needed to hear. Additionally, the cinematography and production design were ridiculously good. These stop motion animation was incredibly well done and the camera angles were creative. Dean Fleischer-Camp did a wonderful job putting together this mockumentary and I gave it a 9.7 out of 10. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is one of my favorite films of 2022 and I recommend watching it. You'll smile, laugh, and maybe even cry. Thank you for listening to my review of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. I hope the next video is to your liking. If you've seen the movie and agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. And if there's something that you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know so I can get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Friends with Benefits. My name is Diego, and I'll see you next time.